You this Wednesday. Tonight, turning the huge waste around the country to useful energy. That should interest all who desire to rise above the challenges of electricity supply. Also tonight, the environment gets attention, even as our correspondent on special assignment gives an insight into the Ogoni cleanup. But before then, you'll get the latest on creating job opportunities for the nation's teeming youth. And on the political front, the governing party is on a fence-mending mission with its members. But back at the seat of government, the process of Budget 2017 may have started. For details of these and many more, stay on News Extra with me, Aisha Bello Mustafa. A very warm welcome. The Federal Executive Council has approved the 2017-2019 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper in line with the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, who announced this after the Council's meeting, said the process of preparing the 2017 budget has therefore begun. Let's get more on this from our State House correspondent, Adamu Sambo.
The Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper, which provides the basis for annual budget planning, consists of a macroeconomic framework that indicates fiscal targets and estimates, as well as revenues and expenditure. With President Muhammadu Buhari presiding, the Federal Executive Council meeting, which lasted more than 4 hours, considered and approved key assumptions upon which the nation's budgets for the next 3 years can be predicated. Consequently, the benchmark price of crude oil is pegged at $42.5 per barrel for 2017, $45 for 2018, and $50 for 2019.
We have numbers for how much we expect to get from customs. We have numbers for how much we expect to get from VAT. We have numbers, independent revenue. So we have numbers for all the things that we expect. But because the oil is volatile, and it's an area that has caused us to be where we are today. We want to assure Nigerians that we are not going back to using high estimates. Even though we're expecting it to go higher than this, but we're keeping to an extremely conservative price scenario.
The Council also approved a maximum oil production level of between 2.2 to 2.4 million barrels per day for the next 3 years, an annual growth rate of between 3 to 4.26%, as well as an exchange rate of 290 naira per dollar.
The government intends to intensify efforts in pursuing non-oil driven economy. So we intend to intensify efforts to diversify the economy. We intend to continue with implementation of ongoing reforms in public finance. We intend to enhance the environment for ease of doing business so as to generate private sector and private investment. We intend to continue pursuing gender-sensitive, pro-poor and inclusive social intervention schemes similar to what we did in 2016, so it's going to be sustained. Our social intervention programs. We intend to devote even more resources to critical infrastructure projects, just as we did this year. So we'll continue to spend money on roads, on rail, transport infrastructure, ports, and so on. We intend to focus on improving governance and security, and we intend to sustain the zero-based budgeting approach.
The Federal Executive Council also approved the ratification of the World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement.
It's particularly beneficial for developing countries that want to be able to access international markets, because one of the biggest barriers is the cost of doing business and the cost of being competitive. And that agreement seeks to basically lower those costs. And given the importance of trade to Nigeria, and our standing, we believe that it is appropriate that we not only ratify the agreement, but also that we champion the cost of lowering the cost of doing business that the agreement seeks to achieve.
The minister said although the World Trade Organization focuses mainly on the promotion of trade globally, Nigeria has a responsibility to support its people and companies to trade better, and such strategies are already in place. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
A group of 30 young Nigerians with vibrant technology-based ideas and innovations would be welcomed to the presidential villa next month. This is reflective of the Buhari administration's appreciation of the enormous creativity among Nigerian youth. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo made the disclosure while receiving the United Nations Special Envoy on Youth, Ahmed Al-Hindawi. Here is State House correspondent Jide Onifade with the details.
The Vice President said the Buhari administration is aware that in spite of the advances in education and technology, inequality of access and opportunities still exists, which the presidency wants to redress. He described the Nigerian youth as being very creative and everywhere trying to make space. He explained that the 30 most innovative and talented young people were picked out of the several thousands of young Nigerians who participated in a competitive selection process. He stressed that government is looking at a new generation of people who have the vision, a different way of thinking, and whose energy and creativity will benefit the nation. Vice President Osinbajo also expressed concern about the humanitarian situation in the Northeast and called for more concerted efforts from the international community in addressing the humanitarian situations together with the Nigerian government, stressing that insurgency is a major problem, especially violent extremism, and the consequences of it are so grave. The United Nations Special Envoy says is in the country to advocate for a coordinated national youth policy, pledging the support of the United Nations system in that regard.
Young people, despite of any challenges, they are offering the great opportunity and the biggest asset for Nigeria today. And the United Nations is a proud partner to Nigeria in advancing youth development in the country.
I will think that what we have learned from the Vice President is really how we can focus as much as possible on the positive side in working with young people. Now, the world is looking at Nigeria, Africa is looking at Nigeria for that leadership and for that example.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
In a related development, the United Nations has pledged to increase entrepreneurship development grants to Nigeria through its agencies towards creating jobs and reducing unemployment among the teeming youth in the country. The United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, Ahmed Al-Hindawi, said this at the Abuja Enterprise Agency, where he inspected wealth creation initiatives of the FCT administration. Metaire Ikben has the details.
The United Nations is as concerned as the Nigerian government about the growing rate of unemployment in the country. Hence this visit by the UN Secretary General's envoy to assess country efforts at addressing the situation. The Abuja Enterprise Agency used the opportunity to showcase its various vocational training initiatives, including the One Village, One Product program, which has enhanced shea butter production and pottery making in commercial quantities in rural communities of the Federal Capital Territory. Mr. Al-Hindawi said supporting such initiatives is the way forward on employment generation.
I think this is a very bright example that needs to be supported, expanded, and replicated across the country. My visit is to confirm and to stress the UN's commitment to support the government's plans and to work with the civil society and the private sector in creating more jobs for young people.
If we have large partnerships with foreign donor agencies and other agencies, we'll be able to get to that destination of having 100,000 jobs by the year 2020.
Youth entrepreneurs at the event discouraged indolence as well as the quest for white-collar jobs.
Be enterprising, be hardworking, be patient, and be persevering.
If you don't want to help yourself, nobody will come and help you.
It was agreed that supporting small and medium-scale businesses will go a long way towards reversing Nigeria's growing unemployment rate. In Abuja, Metaire Ikben, NTA News.
In other news, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has urged all parties involved in the Nasarawa state industrial crisis to suspend activities that may further escalate the conflict. Ngige gave the advice during a meeting with the Nigeria Labour Congress and its trade union counterpart. Here is Labour correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro with the details.
Following a protracted industrial crisis in the last 5 weeks in Nasarawa State, which led to the loss of lives, Labour Minister Chris Ngige wants the state governments to always negotiate issues that touch on workers' remunerations before tampering with them. Even though Nasarawa State government, which requested the convening of the meeting, was not present, Ngige is optimistic that a way out of the crisis would be reached.
We want to have everybody on the conference table so that we can start the process of conciliation, because of the fact that it looks like the mediation, which is the first step in labor negotiations, have not really worked.
The union leader said the crisis was avoidable if laws guiding remuneration were complied with.
It will also assist employers of labor if they are able to understand such laws and act within the confines of this law. It will actually reduce such dispute.
We want to assure you that we'll make ourselves available in the next meeting, as we want to see how we can address the issue at stake.
Due to the absence of the representatives of the Nasarawa State government, which the minister said may be as a result of communication gap, a new date has been fixed for another meeting where grey areas are expected to be ironed out. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
The Nigeria Immigration Service is taking steps to reconsider the dispersed 2,000 officers and men who were unilaterally and illegally recruited into the service in 2015. This step, the Comptroller General of the service, Muhammad Babandede, says will be for the affected or shortlisted persons to be rescreened and to pass through all the clearance systems in order to be admitted formally into the service. Justin Bem Onye has the details.
Following a failed recruitment exercise into the service in 2014, in which some applicants lost their lives, a presidential committee was set up by the immediate past government to assist the Civil Defense, Fire, Immigration and Prisons Board to consequently conduct a rancor-free exercise which led to the recruitment of 2,000 officers and men into the service in 2015. The recruitment, which was said to be an anomaly since the board did not approve it, was suspended and declared inconclusive.
The recruitment was done not legally, not in line with the law. The right thing was not done. The right thing is very clear. Appointment, promotion and discipline of immigration officers, fire officers, civil defense officers rest entirely in the hand of the board. It is there in the law. So whoever does it wrongly.
The federal government has now approved a review of the case, and consequently, the service board has delegated the powers to screen not only the affected 2,000 applicants, but also all 7 officers in the service.
I hope this will be very clear to all Nigerians and to the applicants that nobody should disrupt or deceive them not to come for the verification. But if they refuse to come, fine for them. It means they have something to hide. Why can't you come for a test? Well, our officers serving can come for the same test. If they come, they are screened, they pass through, we'll give them their papers, and they will be working with us.
The exercise, the service maintains, will be professional and fair as it aims at regularizing the recruitment process. The Nigeria Immigration Service says the rescreening of the 2,000 illegally recruited officers and all other 7 officers of the service is slated to begin next week, Monday. The screening will encompass certificate confirmation, drug tests, security checks, as well as age of rank compliance. Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
To ensure that the repatriation of Nigerians in the Netherlands is carried out with dignity and respect, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, has met with the General Director of Netherlands Repatriation and Departure Ministry of Security and Justice, Roda Mas, in Abuja. Gabriel Odu has more.
Given the upsurge of migrants across Europe and particularly Africans undertaking dangerous journeys on land and sea, the Netherlands authorities are tightening grips on foreign nationals into their country. On the strength of that, officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Netherlands are discussing better ways of treating migrants.
Why we do not naturally encourage our nationals to enter other countries through illegal routes, we encourage them to regularize their stay.
Repatriation should be done in an ordinary manner, in a humane way, and in a way that people have the possibility to have a reintegration within the country of origin, especially in Nigeria.
The Permanent Secretary also added that migrants contribute positively to their country of stay and origin.
We also discussed some of the challenges we face in this regard, particularly the issuance of emergency travel certificate. Our position is that we only issue ETC for these returns when we are satisfied beyond all doubts that all local remedies have been exhausted.
Records from the Netherlands Department of Departure and Repatriation indicate that there are about 10,000 Nigerians living legitimately in the Netherlands, but the number of those living illegally is yet to be ascertained. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
Liberia's Vice President Joseph Boakai has been speaking of the commendable role Nigerians have been playing in the revitalization of Liberia's socio-economic life. Speaking on NTA Current Affairs program One-on-One, Vice President Boakai recalled Nigeria's huge contributions to stabilizing the Liberian state following years of conflict.
Nigeria and Liberia are traditional friends over many, many years, and building upon what Nigeria has done for Liberia, even up to now with the drawdown in UMMIL, we still believe that Nigeria will continue to play a viable role in Liberia.
Okay. Liberia's Vice President Joseph Boakai there. And moving on to the rest of the day's news, the governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar, has briefed President Buhari on the recent violence that erupted in Audu Gusau Polytechnic over allegations of blasphemy, where several lives were lost. The governor and President Buhari, who had earlier in a tweet described the incident as barbaric and unacceptable, met behind closed doors. Speaking to newsmen after the meeting, the Zamfara governor promised that those found wanting will be brought to justice.
With the security men, police, and DSS, they are doing investigation. I believe by now there should be some arrest. If you say the punishment of who abused property to be killed, so you now kill on other people that they didn't even know what it is. And by that, there's a government, there is law, there is court, more especially in Zamfara State where we are practicing Islamic laws. We have all these laws in our books. So why should someone take laws into his hand? So definitely, with this culprit would be brought to book.
President Buhari has vowed that under his watch, there will be no room for violence in the name of religion. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights of Internally Displaced Persons, IDPs, Professor Chaloka Beyani, has urged the National Assembly to ensure domestication of the Kampala Convention on IDPs as part of the solution to the social menace in the country. It was at an interactive session with the House Committee on IDPs, Refugees and Initiatives on the Northeast. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim has the details.
Issues of internally displaced persons have become a global concern with various attendant consequences. Professor Bayani explained that the mandate of the UN mission on IDPs in the country is to provide solutions to the deplorable conditions of the IDPs. Policy framework drafted by government in response to the situation, including rehabilitation of the affected areas, activities of the collaborating agencies, the UN Special Rapporteur says would be better achieved through a holistic advocacy initiative.
We need a robust, comprehensive engagement immediately with all engines of the Federal Republic and the state governments firing at once, opening up to address the issue of IDPs. If we don't do that, then it becomes a sore that festers and it never heals.
The committee members explained various measures adopted by the Buhari-led administration in addressing the challenges of IDPs across the nation, including the passage of the Northeast Development Commission Bill by the National Assembly.
This commission, among other things, is to spearhead the reconstruction of the devastated part of Nigeria. The executive arm also has its own idea about how to go about reconstructing that part of Nigeria.
The UN Special Rapporteur on IDPs is also expected to visit some parts of the Northeast. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online through the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Up ahead on the program, with the persistence of pipeline vandalism, NNPC and Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps partner to tackle the menace. These and more on News Extra. These and more News Extra stories in the second part. Do join us again.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
My sweetheart! I carry my private jet go airport and they tell me, say, I never fit take up. That's a problem. Baby, don't rush, relax and talk to me. Sweetheart, me bong that thing. Don't tell about I get. Madam! Baby, cut.
Call every time. Tell me, you dey thief my money, abi?
No. Chief calling officer. Now, what you don't do this time?
The boy don't dey thief my money. See how he burn my pot.
Nah, girl, just give me plenty credit. He don't lie. Airtel Smart Connect. Every time when you load 100 naira, they must dash you 500 naira on top. 250 naira to make call. The other 250 naira will give you 50 megabytes of data. Madam, make I tell you one secret why my credit not a big finish. I always recharge before the time where that one supposed end. Madam, this one not be Jara. Now over Jara.
Airtel, the smartphone network. If you work hard and sow, you deserve a good harvest. That's only fair. If you study hard, you deserve good grades. That's only fair. If you train hard, you deserve to win the prize. That's only fair. if you work hard as an employee, you should have something to show for it. That's only fair. At Premium Pension, we understand it's what you put in that guarantees a secure future. Talk to us today about your pension plan. Premium Pension. The future starts now.
Guys, TGIF! TGIF!
TGIF.
See you later! See you later! Bye-bye! Ooh.
Now the real turn-up is online. Thank Glow, it's Friday. Now you can enjoy 3 gigabytes for 500 naira plus 100 naira free talk time every weekend with the Glow Weekend Plan. Dial *777#.
Hello, Steve. Oh, not there now.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Do you know that 2.5 million Nigerian children are malnourished? Do you know that 500,000 Nigerian children are likely to die this year? Do you know that 3.3 million persons are internally displaced in Nigeria? Do you know that you can get involved? Her Excellency, the wife of the President and founder of the Future Assured program, will formally launch the Get Involved initiative. Come to the International Conference Center, Abuja, and donate your widow's mite to buy products for the less privileged. From 29th August to 3rd September 2016. Time 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's truck month at Ford, and we've got a Ranger just for you, Vincent. Here's the Workhorse 2.5 petrol single cab with free Ford Protect, a 4-year, 120,000-kilometer service plan. Or the 2.5 petrol-based double cab with 800mm water wading capability, available manual transmission and with free Ford Protect. So while stocks last, visit Kostaris Motors today. Because, wait for it, thanks Vincent, we've got a tough Ford Ranger just for you.
Bayes University Abuja offers world-class education, uninterrupted academic session, and promising degrees for a sustainable job. Bayes University Abuja is affordable and delivers quality with experienced international staff, superb facilities, overseas external examiners, and a serene academic atmosphere. We offer quality and affordable education, and students are within easy reach of their parents here at Bayes University Abuja. So learn to live at Bayes University for a brighter future. For more information, visit our website at www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng or call 081 3376 9657 or 081 3376 9658. Bayes University Abuja. Learn to live.
Welcome back to News Extra. We begin this segment with a bit on politics. The national leadership of the All Progressive Congress says it is applying the party's internal mechanism to resolve crises rocking some state chapters of the party. To this end, the party's leadership met with Ondo and Bauchi state executives to resolve the issues at stake. Abdullahi Garba Bernunkudu has the details.
3 days to the scheduled primary election for the Ondo governorship ticket, the APC leadership intervened in the internal crisis. The deputy national chairman of the party, Senator Lawal Shoaibu, presided over the meeting.
This week, you will see the picture of Ondo State as a one-party family state.
Although they agreed to work for a free and fair primary election, some of the factional group members maintained their stand on the vote of no confidence passed on the state chairman, Mr. Isaac Kekemeke.
The way he runs the affair of the party, you cannot find it in the remaining 35 states of federation.
When elections are peaking, you see emotions and you see people express anger,
sometimes frustrations.
On Bauchi crisis, the party leadership met the state executive some days after its meeting with the members of the National Assembly and some principal characters in the internal crisis.
Our ultimate goal as a party is how do we deliver successfully?
Meanwhile, another internal crisis is brewing in the Kano State chapter of the All Progressives Congress. This has resulted in one factional group taking a petition before the Police Service Commission. The group, under the name Konkwasiya Movement in APC, wants the Police Service Commission to investigate the role of the police in the internal crisis facing the two factions in Kano State.
We don't want to have any breach of peace in Kano. That is why we felt the right thing to do is to report to the right authority.
The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Mr. Mike Okiro, pledged to act and advise appropriately. Although the APC said it is not in receipt of Kano petition, or it is on top of the internal crisis facing some states.
The only message to APC members is let us abide by the provisions of the Constitution. Whatever grudge you have against any other member, report it to the party at any level.
In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
We take you to Kwara State now, where stakeholders in the built environment are meeting in Ilorin, the capital. The 5th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development is underway with the technical session. Housing correspondent Muhammad Hamza Sheikh takes a look at possible dominant issues.
For 3 days running, professionals in the built industry have been discussing possible issues that will form the agenda for the 5th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Chaired by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, the technical session is where those agenda received from various professional bodies and individuals are articulated for the meeting proper. Divided into 4 syndicate groups, the technical sessions deliberated on issues such as effective and efficient land administration, housing finance, adequate and affordable housing delivery, urban development, adequate capacity building of professionals, as well as contributions to the National Housing Fund.
I therefore urge delegates to bring to our professional and technical competence to bear while deliberating on the memorandum presented and come up with workable recommendations that will address the challenges in the built industry.
Recommendations and resolutions.
That was Muhammad Hamza Sheikh there reporting. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, has solicited the cooperation of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in the protection of the corporation's critical infrastructure across the country. This was the highlight of an interface between the two organizations in Abuja. Lydia Sampson has details.
Nigeria's energy supply security is sustained by a robust network of over 8,000 kilometers of critical national assets used in transportation of crude oil, petroleum products and natural gas. These assets have been subject to incessant vandalism, theft and sabotage. In its resolve to find a lasting solution, the NNPC leadership visited headquarters of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Ceremony over, it was time for business, and the two bosses did not mince words in placing the issues on the front burner.
The Civil Defense Corps serves the greatest security informant for any kind of vandalism that will take place.
The NNPC helmsman commended the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps for being a grassroots paramilitary agency, not only closer to the people, but also NNPC facilities. Responding, the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abdullahi Gana Muhammadu, reiterated the commitment of the Corps to its core mandate of protecting critical national infrastructure.
We need more vehicles, we need arms, we need tents where we can establish our tents along the right of way.
He said the Corps has so far arrested over 3,000 vandals and taken out 450 illegal refineries. The major challenge, however, he said, is the lack of state-of-the-art equipment, for which he solicited the support of the NNPC. The interface between the leadership of NNPC and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps provided a robust platform for point-blank discussions, especially as it relates to the issue of pipeline vandalism. From the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps headquarters in Abuja, I am Lydia Sampson.
It has been a mixed grill of emotions and sentiments across Nigeria, and particularly in Ogoni land, as the federal government steps up efforts towards the Ogoni cleanup exercise. Nnamdi Odipo, just back from Ogoni land, reports that a rising hope among the people and renewed trust in government's commitment to the project is gradually clamping out public skepticism. Take a look.
It has been at least 2 months since President Muhammadu Buhari officially flagged off the cleanup exercise here in Bodo, in Gokana local government area of Rivers State. The passage of time has not just registered a growing commitment on the part of the federal government, but a growing awareness as well among the Ogonis on the issues involved in the environmental cleanup of Ogoni land.
I'm really happy that something like this wants to come to Ogoni for now.
I think if the government can enforce the area to be peaceful.
I would like the cleanup exercise to be conducted in such a way that every part of the Ogoni will be involved.
For instance, here in Bera, in Gokana local government area of the state, the mood of the people registered the years of despair and environmental neglect. But more importantly, it registers the promise of hope for a better tomorrow. A tomorrow where the popular Kai market for seafood for the Ogonis and the Andonis is filled with catches from the many rivers in Ogoni land. And the day when the small older farmer in Ogoni land grows the potential for commercial agriculture. When that day finally arrives, maybe 30 years from now, then just maybe the struggles of the acclaimed Ogoni 13 would have meant something much more concrete, and their dream for a cleaner Ogoni land closer to being a reality. From Bori in Ogoni land, Nnamdi Odipo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, following the alarming flood alert for this year, relevant bodies say the right mechanism is in place to prevent a repeat of the 2012 experience in Nigeria. Talatu Ezerike reports that they were speaking on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live.
Flooding is a global challenge, and this year's focus in Nigeria indicates flood in many states that could be as severe as that of 2012, which displaced millions of persons, claimed lives and destroyed property, including farmlands. There are apprehensions, especially for those affected.
I don't have money to build, and I don't know what government is doing about it. Or whatever we are hearing on the news is to move out. Move out. Don't go closer. Where are we going?
They evaluated all the houses after the flood, and that was the end. The money we were told was going to be used for the establishment of schools. And up till now, there's no school in our community. Nothing came to people like us.
The concerned authorities assured of best practices in place to avert humanitarian crises, especially through synergy amongst the tiers of government and agencies on education and provision of alternative resettlement centers for the victims.
In planning for resettlement, in order to evacuate people from areas liable to flooding, you have to look at the social consequences, you have to look at the economic aspect, particularly the soil fertility in this area that has enticed people and will continue to entice people to want to remain.
We pre-position materials in our 13 locations to be able to augment what the state government are going to do in the event of flooding.
For some others, flooding could be a win-win situation.
We are not going to have this rain the year round. There will be a time of stress, and so that informs the need for us to harness this water, harvest this water, so that these same water that's in excess could recharge the groundwater system. And this also could be used for even for hydropower generation.
I want to appeal to the National Assembly and Mr. President, as a matter of urgency, to commission hyperdeck. I think if we have hyperdeck in place, we have a lot of
solution to some of our problems.
Analysts are therefore advocating for right approach to the management of the environment in ways that include clearing of drainages and proper disposal of waste. Talat Ezewike, NTA News.
2 months ago, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, restated the determination of the federal government to continue to work on the second Niger Bridge. With the festive season drawing closer, the usual gridlock on the existing bridge is increasingly becoming a nightmare to travelers, with devastating effects on commerce and industry. Austin Edemodu visited the project site of the second Niger Bridge and brings us a situation report.
In recent times, this has been the situation at the Onitsha-Benin Expressway by the bridgehead. Travelers and traders are stranded in long hours of gridlock. The presence of road safety cars sometimes reduces the pains and agony faced by the road users.
Due to the congestion, each time they keep having accidents on the same bridge. So this is what they've been suffering for ages.
There is no doubt that the heart cry of the citizens to complete the second Niger Bridge is justified, so as to minimize the sufferings of the people.
Those vehicles going to places like Port Harcourt, what others, instead of passing them, we'll just immediately divert that one. They take that short, it will serve as a shortcut.
I'm standing right here at the base of the second Niger Bridge. When the Minister of Works and Housing visited this project some time ago, he did promise that the federal government will continue with the project. As I'm talking to you right now, nothing new has been done in this particular site.
When the minister visited recently, the already piled pipes in the waters were visible, in contrast to the present situation where the pipes have been swallowed by the rising water.
I am pleading to him, let him talk to our dear president, Muhammadu Buhari. He's a man of integrity also. Let him see what he can do for this job to be commended.
Efforts to reach the representatives of the Federal Ministry of Works on the second Niger Bridge to speak on the latest developments did not yield any fruitful result. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Proper funding and capacity building are recommended for broadcast outfits to play their role in the growth of democracy. This is the submission at the annual lecture of the National Broadcasting Commission in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
The lecture, which is second in the series, dwelled on the theme Broadcasting, Democracy and the Challenge of the New Nigeria, provided a platform for broadcast chief executives to speak on some of the challenges faced by their organizations and proffer a way forward. Represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ayotunde Adeshugba, Information and Cultural Minister Lai Mohammed said government recognizes the need for independent regulator and which gave birth to the NBC.
It is heartwarming that in all its years of existence, the NBC has enjoyed complete independence.
Guest speaker and former INEC chairman, Professor Atahiru Jega, spoke on the nexus that exists between broadcasting and democracy.
We need to broaden our conception of broadcasting from mere contribution to state-directed or government-controlled nation-building and socio-economic development to include facilitation, promotion, and protection of democratic development and its consolidation.
We do realize the importance of providing a platform of engagement with the Nigerian society in a manner that can assist us to interrogate the most significant issues of the day.
We should be looking at capacity building efforts and how we can turn out content that will meet the aspirations of the generality of the people.
Some of the participants gave their impression after an interactive session.
In this industry, I observe that the broadcasting that we practice in Nigeria is so influenced.
Censorship, most especially, has been the bane of the industry. I think government should hands off and let there be less interference.
The National Broadcasting Commission has the mandate to license, regulate and monitor broadcast outfits in Nigeria. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, has assured NTA staff at the Lagos Network Center that the television network will soon regain its prominent leadership in Nigeria and Africa. The Director General inspected facilities at NTA 2 Lagos Network Center, NTA Ikeja Channel 10, and NTA Education Television. Musa Toliat has the details.
Director General Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) Yakubu Ibn Mohammed visited NTA Channel 10 and Educational Television, where facilities including the studios, post-production facilities, transmission rooms, and outside broadcast equipment were inspected. NTA 2 Lagos Network Center also received the Director General, who inspected facilities at the operational areas, transmitter rooms, SATCOM, outside broadcast vehicle, and studio control rooms.
This just calls for more concerted efforts on the part of everybody in NTA to make sure that we improve on what is on ground, so that we can be better placed to move NTA to the next level.
The Director General later held a meeting with members of staff at Lagos Network Center, where he intimated them with his plans to turn the fortunes of the Nigerian Television Authority for the better. This was after listening to the yearnings and aspirations of the members of the NTA family.
So we have generators, 3 or 4 working generators, they are quite old. If we can get a new one.
Although the Director General acknowledged the need to strengthen the zonal centers and state capital stations, he however hinted the need to rationalize the establishment of community stations, which he says do not conform with reality of the moment in terms of their survival.
Is it realistic for us now to pay attention to community stations? They may be necessary, yeah, they are necessary. In fact, they are necessary. But when your zonal centers and state capital stations are in a coma, do you have any time to think of any community station? No. So I'm very realistic. My priority for now does not include community station.
Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, however, assured the members of staff that due diligence will be rewarded across the NTA stations in the country. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And ahead of its 5th anniversary celebration in October, GoTV, one of Nigeria's fastest growing pay television networks, has unveiled a new package to provide unbeatable, innovative and cheaper offering to its subscribers across the country. The product was unveiled in Lagos.
Light, also referred to as Small Pepe, according to MultiChoice Nigeria, is the most affordable pay TV package in Nigeria. The new package comes with compelling contents, offering more than 20 international and local channels, giving subscribers flexible choices.
We've increased the education on our DIY or self-service options, as well as increasing our visibility and proximity to our users. So I think the brand has grown. The service is pretty much well accepted.
We are about providing more choice for our subscribers, and we're about providing quality content in great crystal clear pictures and sound.
GoTV Lite also provides 3 payment options where subscribers can pay only 3,100 for 1 year, 400 naira monthly, or 1,050 naira quarterly to enjoy viewership.
Yeah, if you divide that, it's about 260 in a month. Then if you divide the one for the quarter, it's about 350 in a month. So I mean, that is a very good one for all our subscribers. We came from when the decoder was 9,900, but now it's 6,900 with 3 months free subscription.
GoTV was introduced into the Nigerian market in 2011. Since inception, it has expanded its services to more than 50 cities in 24 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. Management of the company say it will continue to offer Nigerians the best in digital entertainment. The launch of GoTV Lite now increases the options available to GoTV subscribers to 3. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Do stay with us here on News Extra. Up ahead, investments to revamp the small and medium enterprises, plus activities from the business community. We'll be back in just a moment.
Morning. Morning. Hi. Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you today? How are you? Morning, my son.
Hello, what's up?
Welcome, man.
How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Everybody is coming back to campus and nobody wants to leave, because with Glow Campus Data Booster, you get 10 times the value of your data while on campus. That means 10 times your chatting, browsing, pinging, and more.
Who are these people? Come on, get this. What the?
With Glow Campus Data Booster, you get 10 times the value of your recharge in data and talk time while on campus. Dial *777# and choose your campus booster plan.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Chilling alone isn't such a bad idea, but imagine how much fun you'll have when you call your peeps across all networks for only 11 kobo per second. Or even better, you could turn up the place with 1 gigabyte for just 500 naira to blaze tracks on tracks on tracks with your squad. And that ain't nothing. With 50 naira only for 1.5 gigabyte, you can share the dopest flicks with your day ones. And keep the selfies trending all week long. Still wondering why the flyers keep on fleek on Airtel Smart Drive? Dial *312# to find out.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Floret's chewing gum neutralizes bad odor. It doesn't just disguise them, it gives you real minty breath.
Introducing new Dettol multi-surface cleaner for a healthy home. Some cleaners don't kill germs, others kill germs but don't clean properly. New Dettol multi-surface cleaner gives you 10 times better germ kill, 10 times better cleaning, and all-day freshness for a healthy home.
Germs, oil, and dirt cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce blemishes. New Dettol Even Tone.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something.
Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for being there. Turning to business news now, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, commends the Central Bank of Nigeria for making foreign exchange available to its members. Let's join Abdullahi Muhammad for details.
Hello, good to have you join us on Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed authorized dealers of foreign exchange to henceforth dedicate at least 60% of foreign exchange to manufacturers for the purpose of buying raw materials and machinery. In reaction to this directive, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria says this will boost activities in the sector, emphasizing that the sector is now positioned to play a significant role in determining the value of the naira.
Because 60% of the total foreign exchange in the market will be sold to manufacturers. That means manufacturers would have to bid how much they feel they can buy the foreign exchange for. Whatever they bid will determine what the exchange rate will be. So we're going to play a key role.
The manufacturers also called on government to investigate the cause of the skyrocketing price of natural gas, which is becoming a threat to the survival of many players in the sector.
The cost of gas alone, to the input, to the product is over 45% in some cases. Now, over 45% increase. That means that if you are producing something at 10 naira before, then now you are doing about 148 naira to produce the same thing.
That's Business News. Thanks for being part of it. News Extra continues shortly. Stay with us.
Efforts are on to revamp medium, small and micro enterprises in Nigeria to diversify the nation's economy. Toward this goal, Minister of State, Trade and Investment met relevant stakeholders in the sector. Here is Chiazala Mekiye with the details.
Nigeria has an estimated 17 million medium, small and micro enterprises, constituting an important vehicle for national development. Their strategic importance to integrate a large segment of the populace in productive economic activities gave rise to this parley put together by the Ministry of Trade and Investment, with heads of relevant agencies deliberating on the need to give attention to this all-important sector to diversify the economy. They agreed that to link up with global value chain and attract foreign direct investment, timelines must be set, hence the need for rapid policy framework to reposition the sector.
We'll probably have a look at the review of the MSME policy framework. We'll look at the NEDEP. We'll look at the various plans that respective parastatals have. We're also going to look at what the ministry has in terms of policy review, and then we'll agree on which way to go forward.
SME, as you know, is a major job creator and is a major source of wealth. And we need to do much as a country, and that is what the ministry is doing at the moment.
The meeting also came up with new strategies, such as the use of information technology platform to reduce the number of human interface, which has often been a problem. Chiazalam Ekiye, NTA News.
The Managing Director of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, Umaru Ibrahim, has said it will leave no stone unturned towards ensuring the continued success of the Financial System Strategy 2020 objective for Nigeria. He made this known when members of the Financial System Strategy team visited him in Abuja. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji reports.
Nigeria is poised to become a financial hub by the year 2020. Hence, as an emerging economy, it conceived the Financial System Strategy in 2006 to drive rapid and sustainable growth. To achieve this, the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation is keen on partnering other financial institutions to enhance the strategy.
Financial System Strategy program is aimed at enhancing the financial system in Nigeria, so that we have a robust, resilient, effective, financial system that will create value for the development of the Nigerian economy.
That implementation has been ongoing, and that is what brought about the transformation of our payment system environment, the transformation of the capital market environment, the transformation of our mortgage system, which is still a challenge, basically. But with the passage of the bills, like I said in my presentation, on the Mortgage and Allied Matters bill and the Federal Mortgage Bank Amendment Bill, I think we're going to have a turnaround.
The delegation from the Financial System Strategy Secretariat advocated more cooperation among financial regulators, adequate funding, and legislative framework as key to fast-tracking implementation. The climax of this occasion was the confirmation of the Managing Director, Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, as an ambassador for the Financial System Strategy, a move which will go a long way in deepening financial literacy, among other benefits. In Abuja, I am Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
The search for ingenious solution towards expanding the scope of energy sources for incremental power is receiving more input as sector participants advance waste to energy for Nigeria's economic growth. Hamza Musa Makarfi reports that with 3.2 million tons of waste annually, the initiative may just be a low-hanging fruit, but at a cost.
The huge mountain of dump here tells the story. It is a common phenomenon in towns and cities of Nigeria.
It's an eyesore. It is something that we as government cannot accept.
This small refuse collection center may well expand into a large dump site.
While it has negative impact on the environment and well-being of the people, entrenching best management practices and appropriate technology can turn waste to wealth by incineration to create electricity.
Any economy that wants to diversify must first of all fix her electricity issue. In Nigeria, electricity is a big issue. So energy from waste basically is a need, not just a want for Nigeria.
It is a global trend. In China, the largest waste-to-energy plant in the world is suspected from Shenzhen in the next 4 years, and China hopes to construct additional 300. Research shows a similar feat is viable for most African cities with hundreds of tons of waste. The option to generate electricity from waste is a low-hanging fruit.
Sustainable, the raw material is waste. I think the key things that we need to see this government do is to put in the policies to aggressively drive it, right, to encourage a lot of private sector participation so we can use local materials as a substitution for a lot of the costlier materials to set up some of these biogas plants.
The government must put in place a regulation that says no more waste to landfill, and tell people that they can earn a living by collecting this waste and sending it to particular points where they are needed. And once they can do that, you will see that people will start collecting waste. So the first thing energy from waste needs in Nigeria to succeed is legislation and effective regulation. Another one we need to do is credible supply. So if there is no credible supplier that will maintain supply steady, then it will fail. To be sincere, energy from waste plants are very, very expensive. Let me put it away, they are very, very expensive. They are capital intensive.
Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
The need to further boost broadband infrastructure in Nigeria towards enhancing greater and all-round national productivity formed the nucleus of a telecommunication gathering in Lagos. The Executive Vice Chairman, NCC, Professor Umar Dambata, initiated the move at the Building Industry Consulting Service International Conference and Exhibition. The report.
Stressing the need for uncompromised telecom standards by telecom operators, Executive Vice Chairman, Nigerian Communications Commission, Professor Umar Dambata, represented, says the country will soon experience a revolution in broadband deployment. Describing telecommunications as an important facilitator of economic growth and improved living standards, NCC's Director Technical Standards and Network Integrity, Fidelis Ona, expressed optimism that Nigeria will soon join the group of nations renowned for their robust broadband regime.
The open access model is a framework for infrastructure sharing. Nigerian Communications Commission will continue to drive and support high-speed connectivity and infrastructure, which is the bedrock of ICT growth.
He also pointed out modalities put in place by the Commission to bring about the revolution in broadband deployment.
In this fourth generation, you have high-capacity access networks, and the only thing that can support it is broadband. And broadband facilities, therefore, has to be developed.
The Nigerian chairman of BISCE, Boye Oyerinde, speak on the essence of the conference and benefits the country stand to derive.
In Nigeria, a few years back, you could hardly make a phone call, but today we have them for data, we have them for voice, and now we're going to broadband services.
The BISCE 2016 conference featured technical presentations, exhibitions, as well as telecom networking aimed at improving the quality of ICT systems. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
You're watching News Extra. When we come back, an update on Lassa fever. Join us again.
If we have lost the opportunity of 15 years, let us no longer lose any opportunity for the future. Our alternative is agriculture immediately and solid minerals.
We should be appreciative of the president who has again diverted attention to this issue of agriculture.
The present administration is determined to go back to planning, identify priorities beforehand. When money comes, it is applied to that purpose. And you can see the results.
We are determined to rehabilitate our country, especially for our children and our grandchildren.
Alone isn't such a bad idea, but imagine how much fun you'll have when you call your peeps across all networks for only 11 kobo per second. Or even better, you could turn up the place with 1 gigabyte for just 500 naira to blaze tracks on tracks on tracks with your squad. And that ain't nothing. With 50 naira only for 1.5 gigabyte, you can share the dopest flicks with your day ones. And keep the selfies trending all week long. Still wondering why the flyers keep on fleek on Airtel Smart Drive? Dial *312# to find out.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Since 1991, Delta State has emerged a remarkable state situated in the south-south geopolitical zone of Nigeria with a population of over 5 million people, celebrating their culture and milestones achieved over 25 years. Delta State marks its 25th anniversary, celebrating significant achievements, rewarding outstanding contributors, and inspiring pride for all Deltan. Inspired by the strategic, meaningful, agricultural, relevant, and transformed smart agenda of Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa's led administration. Key activities include Economic and Investment Summit, Grand Gala and Award Night, Cultural Parade, and Children Jubilee Celebration. His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State and the people of Delta State invite you to consolidate the achievement of the last 25 years while setting the path for growth and development for the next 25 years.
Show yourself, oh. Show yourself, and don't wait to celebrate.
Discover the liquid freshness of Center Fresh chewing gum that you feel. And others too. Center Fresh. Trust the freshness.
M5 Plus with a 50-20 milliampere battery that lets you play for up to 3 days on a single charge. Gioni M5 Plus, always in power.
Feet are stomping and the gym is pumping. Look at the crowd is jumping. Pop up your jam and push up your hand. You know, say me fans them plenty like sun. Jump up and dance, make them understand. Say me energy could I never be contraband. No matter what life throws at me, I can handle it constantly. All of my fans them invited. DJ, make my day.
Make my day. Make my day. Make my day.
Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining, clean, and fresh toilet.
Wow.
You should also take the Harpic
all-in-one challenge.
Hello again. You're watching News Extra on the Nigerian Television Authority. Thank you for being there. Let's turn our attention to health matters now. A fresh outbreak of Lassa fever in Delta State has claimed the life of a medical doctor in Asaba. Following this incident, the state government is proactively ensuring that no other casualty is recorded. Helen Dunku, in this report, examines measures to contain the resurgence.
This year, January, Lassa fever claimed the life of a female patient at the Federal Medical Center in Asaba. With the fresh outbreak of the fever, a medical doctor confirmed to be carrying the virus gave up the ghost at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, NAUTH, Nnewi, Anambra State. Investigation also has it that 32 other persons have been put under strict surveillance.
We have shut down the 2 private hospitals involved. The doctor who we are speaking about owned the private hospital in Umuaji area of Asaba. We have gone there and we are looking at the records to see all the patients that were treated there within the last 30 days prior to the patient's illness.
Experts say Lassa fever is preventable.
In this case, the transmission will occur when the patient is symptomatic. That means he already has the fever.
The drugs are even available. We even have the drugs, so the initial treatment we can initiate.
Even the layman knows what could be done to avoid Lassa fever.
We prevent it maybe by using sanitizers and avoiding rats.
The villagers don't have radio, they don't have televisions and all these things with which they will hear what the government will be saying in the newspaper. So they prefer that let people come to them. That is the health workers coming to them.
Lassa fever was first recorded in Nigeria in 1969 in the town Lassa in Borno State.
With the resurgence of Lassa fever in Delta State, one word on the lips of every Deltan is, all hands must be on deck to stem the tide. In Asaba, Helen News.
Meanwhile, tough measures will be taken against quack health practitioners to protect quality healthcare delivery in the country. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives visited the Acting Inspector General of Police to solicit the help of the police for enforcement of regulatory practices guiding health practitioners. They were received by the Force Medical Officer AIG Kaumi Ahmadu.
Force Medical Officer observed that thousands of maternal deaths in Nigeria are largely caused by unskilled practitioners.
The concern of everybody, in fact, the general population, that is the issue of you see them in life. They perform the job of the doctor, the nurse, the midwife, pharmacist. And it has given rise to so many fatalities.
The association says ignorance, cheap labor, and inadequate funding of the health sector in the without regard to their professional competence.
This is the key office when it comes to enforcement of either the position of law in regulation or in practice. And without the office of the Inspector General of Police, the professional association has limitation.
They urge the federal and state governments to ensure that medical health facilities are evenly spread to mainstream the whole country for easy access to health services.
We're sorry for the loss of sound in parts of that report. One of the ways of ensuring that law practice in Nigeria becomes a catalyst for national development is to improve the funding of legal education in the country. This position came from one of the sessions at the ongoing annual General Conference of the MBA in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Femi Okewo has the details.
Legal education, particularly at the professional level, which is under the Nigerian Law School, is still 100% funded by the Nigerian government, of course, with tuition input from individual students. It is in the light of this that the Nigerian Law School continues to welcome bursaries and scholarships by states and individuals who assist law students in what is generally considered an expensive venture.
This is the best time, really, for the private sector and all the stakeholders, alumni, and so on and so forth, to come in and work in partnership with institutions.
Although restricted, it will make a lot of inroads into development of legal education.
As part of the 56th Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, a session was devoted to extraying the funding of legal education in Nigeria, with Professor Paul Idonije as keynote speaker.
Some of our philanthropists have been assisting, but I think they can do more. It is in this context that I would like to single out one organization for mention, and that is the O.B. Lulu Briggs Foundation. We urge other community-based organizations and NGOs to emulate this foundation.
We have decided to add the postgraduate scholarship to this grant that we give to the law school students. The grant of 120,000 naira each and a computer, to help them in their academic studies to become good world-class lawyers as they come out of the law school.
This money is going to go a long way in mitigating most of the hardship we face them. So I'm really grateful for what he did.
Scholars are pushing the frontiers for the struggle for the improvement of law practice in Nigeria to the future generation, which is why this session is very important to the Nigerian Bar Association at its annual General Conference. From the conference hall of the Ministry of Justice in Port Harcourt, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
When we return, special report on the just concluded Rio Olympics and the Nigerian experience at the Games. Join us again.
Hey, I just had a shower, but why do I still feel so hot and sweaty?
Let me finish this and I will show you something surprising. Let's take a look. See, heat means sweat. Sweat brings germs. Dettol 100 times cool. It removes germs to leave you feeling clean, fresh, and 100 times cool. Beat the heat and germs with Dettol 100 times cool.
Dettol, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for being there. On the foreign scene, at least 120 people have been killed and more than 300